What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great day. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Speedball. That is my CB handle. If you guys see me out there, yell at me on the CB and say hello. By all means, say hello, guys. I want to do a quick little video here on. I just was looking over my numbers and stuff for the week, and I wanted to do a quick video on why I came back to Swift. I've had a lot of people ask me, well, first of all, with my experience, they asked me, why in the world would you go work at Swift to begin with? That's a company that new guys trying to get their license come over and work at. Why would you, as an experienced driver, you don't need to do that. You've owned your own truck. You run with Landstar and Mercer. Why in the world would you go back to Swift? And I think it's a valid question. It's a valid question anybody could ask. And then they say, well, wait a minute, you worked at Swift before. You worked at Swift for 3 months and it didn't work out. Why would you go back? And that's a valid question too. So let's do this. Let's get into it, and we'll talk about exactly why I did what I did. So guys, the reason I came back to Swift, or let's do this. Let's go back to the beginning when I first came over here, because I'm not going to get involved in my history and my driving history and all that again. You guys know all that, or anybody that's followed me for any length of time knows that I worked at Landstar. I bought my own truck in somewhere around 2018. You can see it here in the picture. It's the middle truck there. It's that blue Freightliner. I bought that truck in 2018. I ran with Landstar up until 2020. Well, it was December 2021, so let's say 2022. I went through a divorce, and all this went away. Since then, I have worked for several carriers. Ran mainly local, and I've run containers out of the port here in Charleston. I live in Charleston, South Carolina. So I've been doing that. Last year, I decided I was going to go through a lease operator, a lease situation with Swift. I had always wanted to work with Swift. For whatever reason, I just enjoyed the thought of working with a big company like that. And I said, well, I'm going to give a lease operator deal a try. I went over there, picked the truck out. It was an MRP truck. And say what you will about it, there was nothing really wrong with the MRP truck. It had some issues. So I took the cheap truck payment, tried to test it out. I got a bad driver leader. I didn't really care for the driver leader. That's the person that helps you. And the situation was not good. And I could have gotten past the truck and the driver leader, but the miles just weren't there. Swift was still doing their, $1 a mile deal, or $1.50 a mile, or $1.17 a mile, or whatever, which was fine. If I could have gotten 2,500 to 3,000 miles a week. Therein lied the problem. Is I could not consistently get the miles, and this is when their load board had just dropped, and there weren't that many loads on the load board. It just was not a good situation for me. But I lasted 3 months. I started somewhere in June and got to the end of September in 2025. So I left Swift and I started running with a local company here in Charleston, again running containers. And I guess about 30 to 60 days ago, I started hearing the hype of some of the guys talk about Swift and how much money they were making at Swift. And Swift had been talking about switching to a percentage load board, which was more of what I was used to as far as the money and working on my own with Landstar. Guys were talking about how much money they were making, and I saw something out the window there. I was like, what the hell? How much money they were making, and how good it was. So I got to investigating a little bit. I emailed my recruiter over in Greer, Michelle. Just asked to see if I could come back. She said, yeah, if you want to come back, you can come back home. So I made the decision about 4 weeks ago that that's what I was going to do. So I went through the hiring process again. Coming back, I had to go through all the hiring process, the drug test, all that again, the physical, all that. Went and picked the truck out, went and picked it up, and have been pleasantly surprised, guys. I mean, I tell you what, I've said this to several people. This is the best so far for this first 3 weeks. This has been moving into the fourth week. This has been the best trucking job I've had since I worked with Landstar, and I loved working with Landstar. Um, but this is the most like that when I was working with Landstar of any other trucking gig that I have found, a place that I have worked for, that kind of thing. I enjoy it over here. The idea of Swift having the freight that they do, the freight opportunities that they do, the terminals that they do, where I usually run mostly here in the Southeast. I can stop in Atlanta at a terminal. I can stop in Statesboro at a terminal. I can go to Greer and go to a terminal. I can go to a terminal in Memphis. I can stop at a terminal down there in Mobile, Alabama. I can go to Ocala and spend the night if I need to at a terminal. I really like the idea of that. All the terminals have been nice. Take a shower, get some food, get your truck worked on. I mean, they've got shops open now 7 days a week. I mean, it is a good opportunity for someone like me that I had some money in the bank and I didn't want to take all my money out of the bank or in all of my money out of investments and put into another truck. I'm lease give me the opportunity to lease a truck, and they're telling me in December that I can order a truck after 6 months. With this truck, I can have a brand new truck, which would be awesome. Um, but that's really the reason I came back, or the reasons I came back was because of the money. And I joked with one of the young ladies when she was making my a replacement ID card over there a couple of weeks ago. She said something, well, we're glad to have you back, or why'd you come back, or something like that. I told her, I said, I'm a pirate at heart. I go where the money's at. Um, and other than being a little, not scared, but a little concerned whether the load board would have the loads, or the money was really there, or if they were really making money like they said they were online. Other than that little bit of fear, things have been great. I can't say enough this time about how great it's been. I have a great owner operator consultant, which is what this young man is called, or his title. He's been great. He doesn't bother me. He doesn't. And that was one of the issues prior. One of the issues prior was the camera they were using in the truck. I thought it was a little too sensitive in this truck. It seems to be dialed right in. So I don't have any problems with the cameras. I don't have any problems with people calling me and wearing me out constantly. The truck has been great. Before, I had an MRP truck, and there was nothing wrong with the MRP truck, but it had some issues. It was a little bit older truck and had some issues. Um, this truck has been wonderful, has been great. The load board guys, I cannot say enough about the absolute massive amount of loads on the load board. There had been several days where I was like, well, there's not a lot of loads on there, but when I was saying a lot of loads, let's take where I live here. I mean, there were still 20 loads out of South Carolina. The typical, it seems to be out of Georgia. I mean, if there are not 40 loads out of Georgia or 50 loads on the load board out of Georgia, I say they don't have many loads coming out of Georgia. But typically, if you go on there, there's 80, 90, 100 loads out of Georgia. There have been 20 and 30, 40 loads out of Florida, which I do a lot of this just regional run. The Carolinas over into Tennessee, Georgia, Florida. Um, Loads out west, loads in Arizona, loads in Louisiana and Alabama and Mississippi and Texas and Tennessee. Is Tennessee seems to be a little bit lighter area for loads, but still, Virginia, lots of loads. the Northeast has some loads coming in, and a lot going to the Northeast. A minimal to a lot coming out of the Northeast. I don't travel the Northeast anymore. I just don't do that. But it seems the load board has just blown up with the amount of loads that they have. And then now working with percentage pay versus running by the mile, it just gives you the ability to run less miles and make more money. And it just, again, with the opportunities with the terminals, and you're working with such a gigantic leader in the trucking industry, I don't think you can go wrong. If you are looking for an opportunity to start or dip your toe in the water as far as being an owner operator or owning your own truck, I think this would be a phenomenal way to do it. It's just been a good, I can't say enough of good things about it this time, and how good it's been, an opportunity it's been. It's good for my family, good for me, because I was really, really hesitant about staying in the trucking industry when I left this local job here in Charleston. I was just kind of ready to get out of the trucking industry, and decided I was going to try it one more time. And I'm so glad I did. So glad I did. So guys, if you're looking for an opportunity, like I said, if you're thinking about buying a truck, please give Michelle over in the Greer Terminal a call. I'll include her name and her telephone number with this video. I'll also include my driver code if you think it would be advantageous for you to include my name, or that I referred you. But guys, go watch some of the videos out here. You've got Fly Rabbit out here doing some videos. You got some of the other guys out here doing some videos showing you guys what they're making. Guys, they're not lying. They are not lying about the money they're making. They are not lying about the miles they're getting. They're not lying about the loads that are out there on the load board. And I did a money and news video, and I said in that one here just recently that I'm going to start doing some load board requests. So if you guys want to get in the comments and do some load board requests, by all means do that. And we'll see if we can't get you guys over here. It's been a great company. Even before, when I was here for the 3 months prior, it was a good company, and everybody's just so nice and so willing to help. I mean, you're going to have people that are not willing to help and have bad attitudes anywhere. But they just seemed like they were ready to help you do business, ready to help you make money, and get after it. So I can't say enough about it this time. And really, in closing here, the reasons I came back to Swift was because they went to a percentage pay. They gave me another opportunity to try and not really own a truck, but do my own thing. That's the biggest thing, is I get to kind of do what I want to, like I was when I worked with Landstar. And they give me the opportunity to do it without looking over my shoulder constantly. So I would say, if you guys are interested in it, by all means, give Michelle a call. Get out here, dip your toe in it. The freight market is blowing up, guys. They're saying, FreightWaves is saying that this is going to continue into next year, into the bottom half of next year. And we can only hope that it's going to continue. But if you want to make some money and make some real money, now's the time to do it. So guys, if you have any questions, comments, please like the video, comment, likes, comments, subscribe to the channel. It all helps. And then follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook and on Instagram. We're on Instagram now. So do that, and we will check you on the next one. All right.